Hello, we're group number 12. I'm ALYA.
I'm ASHLIN.
And I'm Kai.
So we're going to review the podcast Navigating Adult Friendships from New Straits Times. So the podcast is about the time that you have for your friends, how do you communicate with your old friends and your new friends, and also what they require from friendships.
How do you differentiate, between different kinds of friends?
To me, I don't differentiate by where I met them. For
Okay.
example, more about the strength of the connection. So even if I met you just a year ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, if there's a strong bond,
Yep.
then hey, you're a good friend.
So for the first clip, it talked about different friendships and the compatibility over time. Unfortunately, VYSNAVI is not here to give her points, so I'll be reading them out. She thinks that friendships are based on the bond and not the time period of where we met. And we evolve different paths and choices define how far a friendship can go.
I agree with what she said. I think that different paths and choices definitely define how far a friendship can go. So, for example, no two friends are going to have the same aspirations or careers or fields of study. So that could probably drive them apart.
That you have left behind.
Yes. I've had best friends from school and they remained best friends for a good number of years. But over time, I think life got in the way. And, she had different aspirations and I had different aspirations and we drifted apart. To keep a friendship going, it has to be an intentional thing. But it also cannot be forced.
That's true.
You
That's
can't
true.
force a connection or you can't force the same level of closeness.
All right, so I totally agree with Elena's point, and because I kind of have the same experience. I mean, we all have childhood friends, right? And yeah, I have one as well. Like back in kindergarten until secondary school, we basically do what a besties would do every day. But after we both went to secondary school, we kind of just don't share the same interests again because we used to draw together and do what a bestie would do. But we eventually just lost contact and our relation just fade out. Yeah. Okay, so even though we kind of lose contact, but we still, when we meet each other, we still greet to each other, we wave to each other, but we don't go to a deeper conversation lah. So I wouldn't force myself to having conversation with him, and neither nor I want him to force himself on chatting with me lah. So it will eventually become a toxic relation, I would say.
I've also have had experience with childhood friends falling out, and it wasn't due to any conflicts that we had. It's just that we just stopped liking the same things, so conversations grew dull and we just couldn't connect anymore. But I disagree when the speaker said friendships can't be forced. I think friendships can be forced through proximity. If you are forced to be together or there's nobody else in a room that's willing to talk to you, I think a friendship can be forced. Maybe the closeness and the connection is can be changed, and it's not fixed. But I think friendship can be forced.
For me, I would also say navigating conflicts and misunderstandings in adult friendship, because I find that sometimes I wonder whether truth should be told or whether I should withhold, because if truth be told, then I could rock the boat. But if I withhold, then I could be resentful that I cannot voice. Because as you get older, you tend to be more sensitive and you think, you need to do things a certain way because you need to navigate this very carefully, tread very carefully, especially if it's your very close friend. For example, if you disagree with something that they do, or if you're not in agreement with something that's going on, with their life, do you tell them because you're their best friend? Or do you not say because, you think that if you say something, maybe it's not sought out, therefore just wait and see and just be the support that you need to be?
Okay, so for this clip, it talked about navigating conflicts. I think that we all have had fights with friends, and it's something natural that we all have disagreements and misunderstandings. But things are different. Fights are different when we were younger and now. I feel now we are a lot sensitive to topics than we were younger. In the sense that when we were younger, things didn't really matter to us as much now. So things like family or personal issues can be a lot more sensitive to us now. We might be able to laugh then, but now it could be a lot more difficult to find it humorous. So I feel now we, as adults, we need to be a lot more careful with what we talk about with friends, and we would need to be a lot more mindful of what we say to them and how we say to them, especially tonal, how we talk to them in tone. And yeah, even tones is important to talk to people, because even they can misunderstand that, thinking that we are saying something else when we meant something else.
I also agree with the speaker Intan. I think that as you grow older, you get more sensitive about topics that you might get in conflict with your friends, like ASHLIN said, like with personal issues or family issues, sometimes even career and financial issues. I think that it's important to know on this because it's going to happen more as you grow older, and I think navigating it's going to prove very difficult, but it's important to resolve those sort of conflicts.
I personally agree with that point that as we grow older, we also get more sensitive to the conflict and the topics. So yeah, because when we are like younger, we may be too naive and we don't really care about other people's feeling and what other people were thinking, right? And yeah, so sometimes we might say something a bit more offensive, but we don't really realize it.
Okay. So for Vishnavi's point, she mentioned about sensitivity is crucial in a growing friendship. I feel like that yes, it can be something crucial, because it shows that if you cared about somebody's sensitivity, that means it shows how much you care about the person. And depending on how much effort you put into trying to avoid conflict with the person, also shows how much you care for the person.
I think honesty without empathy is cruel.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just you're just shooting somebody and not building them up, because when you're honest about something, it's never meant to break a person down. You if you're just constantly being honest by itself, you're just breaking a person, you're not building them up.
Yeah.
But every friendship, we go into a friendship or a close friendship, is we want to build each other up. When you have honesty without empathy, it doesn't work. But when you have honesty and empathy, because everybody is going through their own struggles and everybody is trying to make sense of this world and life as it is, it's already hard,
Yeah.
and we make mistakes. So we want a friend who's honest, but want a friend who's also empathize what we're going
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
So I think those two things for me goes hand in hand.
So for the last clip, it mentioned that the thing that you require most from a friendship, and the speaker Alina talked about how honesty is important, but so is empathy. I personally agree with that. I think that friendships who only have honesty can come off as rude or selfish and also insensitive, because it's not like taking your friends into like consideration. Like Alina said, every person has their own struggles, has their own issues they have to deal with. So I do think that honesty and empathy go hand in hand.
This also goes hand in hand with navigating conflicts. I believe that yes, being honest but also being empathetic to the person is important, because it's important to be truthful, but you should be understanding of the situation because not everybody is going through the same things. And I feel that if you are being honest and without telling the person your intentions on why you're being honest, and not letting them know that you are worried for them or you care for them, being honest may not be always the best option. So if you're going to be honest, it needs to be in a very respectful and empathetic manner.
Yeah, I agree as well, and I also have shared the same opinion as ASHLIN. And I think sometimes you just have to stand on other people's perspective and not just speaking like what you think it is. Yeah.
Right, so Vishnavi mentioned, we seek friends who can be both honest and empathetic in similar situations to sustain the relationship. True friends support each other in growing and improving.
I do agree with that. I think true friends can criticize each other or navigate through that conflict, like Ashlyn said, in a respectful and empathetic manner. I think it depends on the situation, but I mostly agree. Okay, so that is all from us. Thank you for listening in, and goodbye.